Day one of the 2025 NBA Draft has come and gone, and now we are on to round two, where the Boston Celtics hold the 32nd overall pick in the 2025 NBA Draft. That would be the second overall selection on round two. So on today's show, I have three round two targets, and I think Celtics fans are going to like them, as many did not love the first round pick of Hugo Gonzalez. We'll talk more about him in just a second, but we are going to give you three round two draft targets for the Celtics at pick 32, and at minimum, two of these three players will be available. But first, let's give you a quick rundown of Hugo Gonzalez, who was selected number 28 overall. And look, for basketball fans, specifically NBA fans, who are not the most tapped into international play or even college basketball for that matter, you probably don't know much about Hugo Gonzalez. And there isn't much to necessarily say as far as his encore production goes in Real Madrid last year. He's 19 years old, so people thought he could be a draft and stash for a year. No, he will be coming over in year one and play in 25-26. He projects as a really good winning basketball player with a lot of good intangibles. He can defend one-on-one. He can also really has a knack for, spatial awareness out there on the court if he wants and sees some, clogging and some, just not space floor. He'll move his body and create open space for his teammates. Like, he's not going to be this ball-dominant player who's just going to go get you 20 points a night. That's not who Hugo Gonzalez is. He's making these winning plays around the margins. Not much of a shooter, not much of a shot creator, really, but he can finish around the rim. He comes off of these cuts, backdoors, screens, drives. Like, he could do the dirty work as a Celtics player, and I think he fits the mold for a Brad Stevens. I'm definitely warming more up to the pick of Hugo Gonzalez. But the Celtics do need to make a round two selection, probably somewhere in the front court. And when the Celtics do make that move, we will make a video for you guys right here on the channel. I promise you, when the Celtics take their 32nd overall selection, we're going to make a video immediately breaking it all down and looking at the Celtics roster as it stands at this point. So make sure you are subscribed to the channel and you turn your notifications on as well so you know exactly when we post that video or any content all offseason long here at Celtics Today. Without further ado, let's get into my three NBA draft targets for Boston Celtics at pick 32. Starting off with Ryan Kalkbrenner. I know many Celtics fans probably wanted this to be the pick at 28th overall, but he is still on the board for them at 32 potentially. You obviously have, I believe it's the Minnesota Timberwolves with the first overall selection of round number 2, so could potentially go there, but they did end up taking a center with their first overall selection in round 1, Joan Berenger, so they're potentially going to go elsewhere with this pick. Kalkbrenner, though, I think he projects as an instant contributor in this league. He's 23, almost 24 years old. He can finish around the rim. Like, he's got solid touch around there. That little jump hook is pretty solid, and he has some serious shooting upside. If you look at what he did when he went to the NBA Draft Combine, I mean, the guy shot 32 of 48 from three-point range. Yeah, there's NBA players who aren't shooting 32 of 48 in an open gym. I'm dead serious. That's on multiple spots throughout the floor. I think it's six maybe in each spot around the floor. So we'll see if he can project to be a floor spacer in this league. But there's no doubt about it that he is an elite rim protector. 2.7 blocks per game. Multiple-time Big East Defensive Player of the Year, Ryan Kalkbrenner. I've watched this guy for a long, long time. I really think he could be an NBA player. Elite help defender. He's quick on his feet as far as, around the rim area. Not going to be a great perimeter defender. He's a 7'1" player, but this guy filled up the stat sheet in Creighton for his entire time with the Blue Jays and can honestly be a multiple level scorer here if he develops a little bit more of an offensive game. Kevin O'Connor of Yahoo Sports had this write-up on Kalkbrenner saying, Kalkbrenner is a throwback 7-footer who owns the paint, swatting shots with his giant wingspan and dunking everything in sight. It's a bit strange he isn't a better rebounder. Yeah, he's not exactly the best in that regard for 7'1", but as a super senior, he has also developed some sneaky passing and shooting skills that hint at a higher upside. Look, Kalkbrenner is going to be a player in this league. I think he's going to have a long career. Is it going to be with the Boston Celtics? I really, really hope so. It would be awesome to see him pair up with his teammate in college, Baylor Shireman. They could run a little bit of a two-man game I could see in the second unit for Boston. We do know now that Brad Stevens is prioritizing bringing back Al Horford and Luke Cornett. Hopefully both of them, but there's a good chance that only one, maybe none of them end up re-signing with the Boston Celtics. So they're going to need to go get front court help. Kalkbrenner is out there. I'd go out and make the swing if that made sense for Brad Stevens and company. Clearly, he wasn't the pick there at 28, but with the way that some of these big men in the first round of the NBA draft kind of fell out, some players that we'll talk about in just a moment, Kalkbrenner could absolutely be that guy for Boston at 32. How about we move on to my second round 2 draft target for your Boston Celtics. That's Rasheer Fleming of the St. Joseph's Hawks, the mighty Atlantic 10. Rasheer Fleming, think of this. A little bit of a Bobby Portis type in a way. He's not exactly like prototypical big, like who's going to be down there banging down low. Like this guy made serious plays last year in Philadelphia. He's a dominant play finisher at the rim, and he's improved his three-point shooting every year. He's not going to be a shot creator per se, but as far as somebody who can work off of the ball both down low and beyond the arc, he's absolutely a player I would want on the Boston Celtics. A physical defender in the front court, and he can guard all 3 positions in the front court in this league, 3, 4, and 5. He's got the tools to be able to do a lot of different things. Averaged nearly 3 stocks a game last year with St. Joe's. He shot efficiently from the floor as well, over 53% from the field. And this is one of my good friend Nick Roloff. This is one of his guys in this draft, Rasheer Fleming. And he honestly was a very surprising fallout of the first round. Probably the most surprising in my opinion. Look, he can not really put the ball on the deck, and maybe that's why some teams were deterred from him, and he didn't exactly shoot that great from three-point range when it came to the combine, but he's got a 7'5" wingspan at 6'8". Like, that is just disgusting in this league. And you know what? Decent athlete as well. 32-inch vertical for a 6'8" player. That is very, very solid. And we're talking about 6'8" without shoes. This guy's going to look like maybe 6'9", 6'10" when he gets into this league in a super, super positive wingspan. Rolly compared him to Jonathan Isaac. I got more of a Bobby Portis maybe kind of comp on him, but Kevin O'Connor said the following about Rasheer Fleming. Hustler who drains spot-up jumpers and brings energy on defense, swatting shots and snagging boards. But he has some real warts as a ball handler and a lack of experience against high-level competition. So teams will have to feel real confident in his role player skills will translate. Look, I think they will. This is a guy who I thought was rising up draft boards for a good bit. Ends up falling out of the first round, and Boston could be very, very lucky to have him fall into their lap at pick 32 overall. If he can be an even more consistent jump shooter in the NBA than he was in college, then he projects to be a really, really solid pro, and probably it's a player that teams will regret sleeping on in round 1. If he falls to Celtics and they take him at 32, I'm going to be ecstatic. One more prospect to talk about in just a moment, but I got to tell you guys about the fresh deal that we got going on with our friends over at Fanatics. The Celtics draft hats, they are right here and at this link right here, chatsports.com/Celtics draft. They don't even say NBA draft on them, so you can wear this hat 365 days a year. So go get yours today. This link right here, chatsports.com/Celtics draft. It'll be in the comment section. It'll be in the description of today's video. So make it easy for you guys. Go down below, click the link, and you'll be taken right to this page to pick up your Celtics 2025 NBA draft hat. All right, last prospect we're talking about, Maxime Raynaud from Stanford. Kristaps Porzingis clone, anybody? I could be down for this. He's an effective paint defender. Now, he's not a very mobile defender at this point, but he's also grown in his perimeter shooting. I think he's an elite passer from the big man spot in this draft, and that's not really a skill that you see too often as something that's like a standout skill, but I think he's one of the best passers overall in this entire draft class. And like as far as being it's just like an offensively gifted center, he's the best. He's better than Danny Wolf. He's better maybe potentially than Derek Queen because he has the ability to space the floor, and he's a better overall passer. He stands at 7 feet tall. This guy is a legit player. Now, his shot is a little bit slow at this point. That's always something you can work on as you get deeper and deeper into the league. And this guy put up massive monster numbers at Stanford last year. He would have been the ACC Player of the Year if Cooper Flagg just didn't exist or didn't play in that conference. He is a little bit frail at this point. Like, you can see the frame isn't exactly all the way filled out. Like, it probably causes some issues for him on the defensive end early on in his career. He's got to get in the weight room and got to add strength. And he's got to, probably get a little bit better on the defensive end of the floor. Like, he could be played off the floor at this point if he gets pulled out into the perimeter or in a switch and a pick and roll. Like, teams are going to hunt. That's what teams do in today's NBA. So Raynaud is going to be no stranger to that. He shot 27 of 50 from three-point range at the NBA Combine. So this is a legit player, but not exactly a super positive wingspan either. Just 7'1", a little bit over the positive threshold there. But he's 240 right now. I think he's got to get to about the 250 to 260 range in order to be serviceable on the defensive end at this point. 31-inch vertical, so he can get up there a little bit for a 7-footer. I think as far as a little bit of a poor man's Kristaps Porzingis replacement, this would be a solid pickup for the Celtics. O'Connor says that Raynaud has leveled up every year at Stanford, turning into a player who pops threes, slashes to the rim with a smooth handle, and makes eye-popping passes. As a talented passer who also adds solid defense, there is little reason to think the Frenchman won't carve out an NBA role. I would love if it was with the Boston Celtics. I'll tell you what. Nick Roloff has a comparison to Brook Lopez at this point. I don't hate that whatsoever. I do think that the Celtics are going to take a player in the front court tomorrow. They're going to have their pick of the litter when it comes to who's going to be available on the board. And I think if they took any one of these three players we talked about on today's show, I would be through the moon with Boston's draft because I believe in Brad Stevens' vision. Yes, Hugo Gonzalez was a little bit of a head scratcher, but I think he makes the intangible winning plays that the Celtics really fall in love with when they go out there and acquire players. So pick one of these guys to draft as they look to fill out the front court now. Ryan Kalkbrenner, give me an RK in the comments. Rasheer Fleming, give me an RF. Not exactly the truest center or big in this grouping, but I think he provides a lot and is slipping in the draft mightily. Maxime Raynaud, give me an MR down in the comments section. And make sure you are subscribed to this channel because we are going to bring you all the Celtics offseason content that you need, whether it's more trade rumors that come out this offseason. It looks like, for those of you who stick around to the end of the video, it looks in all likelihood that Boston will be keeping Jaylen Brown and Derek White for the foreseeable future. Very, very happy about that. We hopefully can contend in the Eastern Conference next year. We will bring you all the latest. And give me a follow over on Twitter as well, at Smitty, at CS. We'll catch you guys all in the next one when we're breaking down the 32nd overall pick for your Boston Celtics later on tonight. See you guys then. And as always, let's go C's.